What's going on, everybody? Nazdarachi back again with another episode of Relic Review. In this episode, we're going to hit some of the second anniversary event details we have going on here, cover a little bit of what's going on with Orbfest, and as well, the Scheming Tyrant Final Fantasy II event has launched, so we're going to check out the Relic banner for that also. I only plan on doing a 100 gem draw because there are so many good things up and coming that I really don't care for the Final Fantasy II synergy so much. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have some of the cool new soul breaks, but at the same time, with all the stuff up and coming, save, it's what I recommend. New player, old player, doesn't matter. Lots of good stuff coming up for second anniversary. So to hit those details pretty quickly here, we'll bring up this in-game chart and take a quick look. We have the concert hall, which, if I'm not mistaken, is an event themed around the official soundtrack for Record Keeper. There are potential bard items that can be gotten from this, and maybe a draw as well related to it. That is not really anything of major concern, I guess, unless you are just kind of going for perfectionism and want everything you can get your hands on, then I wouldn't look too hard at that one, but it might be cool to check out some of the music from the game. Now, the Spring Festival 2017, that is Orbfest. The details surrounding that should be fairly well known already because it's an event that we've seen before. Basically, there are 5 divisions, each one lasting not terribly long amount of time, and they all are themed around getting different orbs. The higher difficulty in the dungeons you do, the greater chance that you're going to get a cactar to spawn. There's 3 different types of cactars, and you generally want the very largest one to show up because that guarantees you a 5-star orb. Now as well, you can get other goodies from the other enemies, like experience, lots of gil. It's a good way to master soul breaks and kind of get some new characters that you might not have leveled up to par. So definitely worth checking out. Every difficulty is also worth doing because you want to get the overall 25 mithril that you'll get from all the events. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the banners go like so. The first tier of the event is going to be Black Magic, Darkness, and Lightning Orbs. The second tier will be Power, Non-Elemental, and Wind. The third tier will be White Magic, Holy Earth. Fourth tier will be Summoning, Fire, Ice. And the fifth tier will be Adamantine and Scarlatium, so the upgrade materials. As well, experience and other good guild drops are always going to be throughout all the events, so definitely check that out. I would also recommend probably spending a decent amount of time on the summoning one, because for me, I don't know about y'all, summoning orbs are pretty rare. So that's pretty much all you need to know about Orbfest. It's really kind of a distraction from the fact that all the realm dungeons are also half synergy, so you kind of maybe want to balance that a little bit, because if you haven't cleared all the realms, it's a great time to kind of power through that. As you can see, I only have 126 stamina, so it would be a good idea for me to tackle a lot of these elite dungeons right now because stamina costs can get pretty absurd on some of those. So keep that in mind as well. You can farm the realm dungeons for mithril and stamina crystals right now because everything is half stamina. Now, as well, there are some special record missions and Sid missions going on. They just kind of require you to do certain dungeons with certain teams, and you'll get bonus rewards. Definitely worth checking out if you have enough characters mastered to do that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I don't have some of the more obscure requirements that they're asking for, but there are some cool little story elements to it as well. So again, if you can do it, it's worth checking out. Now, these always lucky relic draws here are going to be half-price relic draws. There are 3 of them, and if I'm not mistaken, in order, they should be a half-priced Medica banner, so Team Heals and White Magic effects on the first one. The second banner will be an Elemental Infusion banner, so basically it'll be items that have soul breaks that, infuse the user with the power of wind, poison, darkness, etc., etc. Those are going to be what the second banner is mostly about there. And the last banner is a half-price burst soul break banner. So all types of, random burst soul breaks will be included in that one. They're also, which they haven't really updated us on yet, but on the 25th, we'll be starting the main banners. And there's going to be 5 of those as well. Now, looking up the Japanese information, you can see all what was released and which items were available in which banners. But for the global version, they have not announced that information yet. And we don't know exactly which items are coming on which banners. In addition to those 5 banners, there would be as well, I think, just a 1-day only special Ultros banner. So again, those are all things to keep in mind, because you're going to need a lot of Mithril to do all those draws. And of course, at the same time, there'll be a Final Fantasy VI event with Celis OSB, Burst Soulbreak, and some good stuff for Edgar also. So, Final Fantasy VI banner, honestly, both of them are going to be worth checking out as well. So you're going to want to budget for all that stuff going on. As a new player, as an old player alike, you're going to have to kind of cherry pick some of the stuff that you're going to want to shoot for. And of course, I'll be covering most of that stuff when it comes out as well, because we all know I love to cover Relic banners. With all of the Orbfest and 2nd anniversary stuff out of the way, we can check out this Scheming Tyrant Relic draw. Now, as we're going into this, I'll also remind you that the Chimera's Conquest Raid Dungeon came out. It's, 80 and 120 difficulty, so you should be able to knock it out pretty easily. And as well, I don't have a lot of percent drop generated information for this yet. At least not for all the items, but let's go ahead and hit it here. Your first item is the Ragnarok Sword. It is for Firion. There is a small boost to holy damage, but it is synergy required. You got attack 169, and you have your Overstrike, the Rose of Rebellion. Deal massive physical, holy, and non-elemental damage to one target. Deals more damage for each attack dealt by the user, up to 3 attacks. Can break the damage cap. So, I'm not honestly sure yet, I haven't looked into this, but there is a damage multiplier going on here that goes up for each attack he's done. I'm not sure if the Overstrike starts out mediocre at first and then gets good, or if it starts out already good and then somehow gets really good. So, just based off the attack itself, it's just kind of an average seeming holy Overstrike, but the dependence of this multiplier can ultimately determine how good this Overstrike is overall. Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting this item in my 100 gem draw, but that kind of, I feel like, would burn some luck I'd rather have later on in the game. Again, and as well for that first item, I don't have any percent drop information for that or this Demon Rod yet. Well, moving on, we do have the Demon Rod here. It is for the Emperor, new character, attack 55, magic 131, mind 105, small boost to dark damage with no synergy required. Burst Soulbreak, Winds of War. Deals 6 magic wind and dark attacks to all targets. Temporarily infuse the user with the power of wind. And hasten burst mode to the user. Burst abilities Binding Gale. Deal 4 magic wind and dark attacks to one target with a moderate chance to interrupt its pending actions. And Leeching Winds. Deal magic wind and dark damage to one target, healing the user for a portion of the damage dealt. This item is actually pretty good. For a black magic, wind and dark based item, this would fit in quite nicely with any dark themed team, and as well, for magic, it would go great with a wind physical based team, you know, like Zack and Cloud with their wind fuckery they have going on. This would mesh perfectly with that. The burst commands, obviously the first one is the one you want to go with. That interrupt can be great, like we saw in this past Final Fantasy 13 dungeon. A lot of the bosses were weak to interrupts, so those can be very handy. Second burst command, you can kind of use that if your character's beat up and you don't see a heal coming anytime soon, but honestly the first one is definitely the way to go, unless you need a heal. Pretty good item, I actually kind of like this. Emperor coming into the game strong with a good burst soul break here. He's doing a lot better than Rufus, that's for sure. Poor Rufus. Next item is the Gladius. It is a Thief's type dagger for Leela, 125 attack, no bonus effects. Burst Soulbreak, Poison Cloud XVI, or 16. Deal 8 physical poison and non-elemental attacks to all targets. Temporarily infuse the user with the power of poison. Grant haste and burst mode to the user. Burst abilities Poison Sting, deal 4 physical, poison, and non-elemental attacks to one target, reduce delay before hitting. Thief School on that, and Thief School on Pirate's Venom, deal 2 physical, poison, and non-elemental attacks to one target, lower its attack and mind a small amount, and raise the user's attack and mind a small amount. Obviously Burst Command 2 is the good one to lead with here. This buff stacks with a lot of other buffs in the game and will definitely help you out. Poison Sting is obviously as well kind of like a poison themed full charge, but with the reduced delay instead of an increased delay. And not a lot of enemies are really resistant to poison. It's kind of underused. At the same time, it is a secondary kind of element, so it doesn't deal quite as much damage. But this is still pretty good. I like poison attacks. I have Edgar. I'm hoping to get his Burst Soul Break from his banner in the future. So I like poison. I like this item. And it seems you have about a 0.71 chance to draw this Gladius so far from the data that has been generated. Next up, we have a second sword for Firion, a Burst Soul Break. Got 130 attack, a consistent boost to holy damage with no synergy required, and the Burst Soul Break Weapons Master. Deal 4 instant range physical, holy, and non-elemental attacks to all targets, haste and burst mode to the user, and enable each ally 1 magic blink. Burst abilities Chain Strike, deal up to 8 range physical, holy, and non-elemental attacks to one target. The number of attacks increases the more this ability is used. And Chain Launch, deal 4 physical, holy, and non-elemental attacks to one target, and remove the delay from the user's next action. Burst Command 2 is more of a tech play type move when you want to speed up your next cast for your next turn. The obvious choice would be to spam Chain Strike right here. That seems like the stronger ability unless you're going for a technical play. Having a small boost to holy damage consistently never hurts. And overall, this is a fairly good Burst Soul Break. This banner definitely shows Firion the most love as he seems to have 3 items on it. So hopefully you'll pull something good for him. Either his armor in this Burst Soul Break, or the OSB in the Burst Soul Break, or whatever combination suits you the best. Seems like you have about a 1.43% chance to pull this item in your draws. Next item is now the Super Soul Break Armor for Firion, the Diamond Helm. Attack 17, Defense 114, Resistance 101. It also adds minor lightning resistance at all times, so that could definitely help out if you're in a situation where you definitely want to pack a little bit of extra lightning resistance. Super Soul Break Shining Blade, deals 6 physical holy attacks to all targets, temporarily infuse the user with the power of Holy Light. It's a Super Soul Break. It's nothing really crazy. Probably a little bit subpar compared to some other Super Soul Breaks in the game, but with all your potential stacking, Holy, I really see this Soul Break being used maybe to boost into his OSB or BSB. You use this first, I guess, if you have Battle Forged or Mako Might or Dr. Mog's Teachings on him. Honestly, it's not a great Super Soul Break, and I feel like it would be better after it's mastered and you have another piece of armor on him that boosts holy damage, honestly. But in the meantime, it's just something to throw on him that can make his other attacks a little stronger if you lead with it. Seems like you have about a 2.14% chance to pull that helmet in your draws. Super Soul Break for the Emperor here, small boost to dark damage, constant synergy. 17 magic, 113, 113, that's almost identical to other magic-based light armors we've seen in the game. And the Super Soul Break Prison of Sorrow, deal 8 magic, dark, and non-elemental attacks to one target, and grant all allies a barrier that reflects damage. I would say that this is actually a not terrible Super Soul Break, much better than Firion's. That barrier that reflects damage fits in quite nicely with all the other buffs that you can put on your characters, and its effects are actually pretty useful. So I'm not going to poop on this one at all. This is actually a pretty decent Super Soul Break right here. It would go great if you have his Burst Soul Break as well to keep him fully well-rounded here. So again, I'm saying the Emperor is coming out pretty strong in this game. Much stronger than some of the other characters like General Leo and Rufus, who I don't know if they will ever be really off the bench. Emperor comes in and he can be a starter. Definitely a very strong character. Seems like you have about a 2.14% chance to draw that cloak as well. Next we have Ricard's Cuirass. It is heavy armor for our Dragoon character. 17 attack, 139 defense, and 94 resistance. Also adds a constant boost to wind damage, so that could be great for your wind party, your Dragoons, or anyone that can wear heavy armor when you need some extra wind oomph going on. Your Super Soul Break High Wind Secrets deals 6 jump wind attacks to random targets, infuse the user with the power of wind. Damage dealt increases for each hero in the party that can use Dragoon abilities. That's pretty lame, that last line of the Soul Break. I mean, unless you're doing a Dragoon party, which is somewhat complicated and kind of useless sounding overall. I don't know. Not a great Super Soul Break. This banner's not really focused around Ricard, it's just something they threw in here to flesh it out. I mean, if you use Ricard, more power to you, and this can definitely help you out a little bit, but this would not be what I would be shooting for from this banner at all. And you have about a 1.43% chance to draw it. The infusing the user with the power of wind and maybe throwing him on a team with Zack and Cloud would honestly be a better part of this. If you have Zack, Cloud, Sid, Ricard, then you can have a pretty high damage wind team here. Honestly, that seems like the best use for this item here. For this Super Soul Break anyway. Next item is Super Soul Break Pirate Knives, Thief's Gloves for Leela here. 26 attack, 18 magic, 92 defense, 88 resistance. Super Soul Break Pirate's Knives deals 6 physical water attacks to one target. Temporarily lower its attack and resistance a large amount. Raise the user's attack a moderate amount and resistance a small amount. So this is as well a fairly decent Super Soul Break. The breaks will stack pretty well with full break and other breakdowns in the game. Boosting the character a little bit up as well here. So yeah, all in all, if you use Leela, it's not a bad buffing and breaking Super Soul Break to have. Definitely kind of has a support vibe to it. You got about a 0.71% chance to draw this item as well, which is the same so far as the other relic for Leela, which apparently they don't really want you to get stuff for her so far. Next item is the Golden Armor for Leon here. It is just a unique Soul Break, handed to the Emperor. Temporarily raise the party's attack a moderate amount and defense a small amount. Not terribly useful. Defense 120, resistance 69. It's just the unique item of the batch here. Got about a 1.43% chance to draw it, and nothing really to report on with that one. So that's every item that we've got on the banner here. Let's do our 100 gem draw and see if we get lucky. I'm going to predict no, and I kind of hope we actually don't get lucky, because I would prefer luck in the Final Fantasy VI or Anniversary banner instead of 2. But I do these draws just to see what I can get, which was nothing. So no luck on this banner here. I'm not going to do an 11 pull, even though the Emperor is a very strong character. Yeah, even though the Emperor is a really strong character, I'm just going to forgo this banner. There's just too much good stuff up and coming here for me to risk getting a bunch of stuff for Furion or God forbid somebody else. So for now, I'm going to save my resources. I hope you guys enjoyed this little update, news, overview, review of relics and all the kind of information we covered here. If you did, feel free to follow along and join up with the show, and I'll definitely be catching you guys for Banner 2. In the meantime, I hope you guys use your stamina wisely, consolidate all your resources, and I hope you guys have some really lucky draws and some good fortunes in this upcoming 2nd anniversary hotness here. As always, this is Nazarachi, and I will catch you next time. Have a great evening. Later, you guys.